Okay, so I gotta lower my forehead so I can get my face in this goofy camera. This is ridiculous. But it does work. Let me just move back. That's the, well, you gotta move back into the next county. All right, here I am, E.G. Kushner, the satirical political comic, but you can't beat off your audience. You get arrested. You can't beat your audience to death right off the bat in a routine with hard-hitting, terse, satiric humor. So what you got to do is start off generically with some topic, like coughing mucus from the residual effects of a URI, upper respiratory infection. You can't get it because you're on the other side of the screen. Consider yourself lucky. Now, I'm not contagious. Haven't been so for 2 weeks. Anyway, here's what I wanted to start off with. I'm sick of these Fast and Furious, sequel thing. I'm just tired of this already. So now they got one, The Fate of the Furious. I just want the fate of the Fast and the Furious series to be this. Number 1 of 2, they stop making subsequent episodes. And 2, that they admit that Paul Walker is as dead as The Rock's acting quality. It's off the scale. And everybody's like, Hispanics, supposed to be so liberal because of their history of persecution dating back from, a culture, Spanish culture that brutalized, raped, murdered, imprisoned, forcibly converted them. A culture, in other words, which they freely adopted. But every other one, it's like they got a problem with. So with Paul Walker, getting back to the point, it's, hey, you white people, it was Paul Newman was your actor, Jack Nicholson, pick an actor, we don't know, we don't embrace your culture. Well, Paul Walker was our Paul Newman, okay? So I love how liberal people like this, supposedly, presumably liberal, erect these racially based delineation barriers. It's like, we're over here, you're over there. But I like to tell the Latino friends of mine, because most of my friends, an overwhelming majority are, at least before they hear this routine. But anyway, look, you're just really mad because given the fact that Paul Walker obviously anglicized his name and his looks to more resemble, rather than a Chicano, a 1960s California white bread surfer dude living off of his father's inheritance, whatever, the family trust fund, you're just pissed off. You're just vehement about this dividing line because you know that he was ashamed of being Hispanic. So just don't take it out on us. It was Paul Walker's choice, but he is dead. Now, that was a tragic, horrible accident. Now, getting a little bit more, but still not anything that's going to upset the emotional apple cart of an audience before I'm ready to get into the real grist, the political grist. So I picked another topic that's just tame. Nobody will get upset about it. Put on the defensive. So let's delve into the United Airlines savage, brutal, barbaric beating of passenger Dr. David Dow. We're all in an uproar about that. We're in an airline engine uproar or something. Now, we're really in an emotion. That was horrible. And, a couple of things occurred to me. At least, I got something selfish benefit out of it. I have to admit it. I don't like to do that. But, let's face it. We're all selfish human beings. I can feel sorry for what happened to David Dow, but, the $14 million he got kind of takes some of the empathy that I have away from. No, it was horrible. But the first thought I have is, if United Airlines can afford to make 10, 12, 14, 15 million dollar settlements to brutalize passengers it committed atrocities on. Let's face it, they're responsible. They allowed it to happen. They created this stupid, mistake concealing, overbooking generated mess. It was them. They called the police. They sanctioned the whole thing. If they can afford to spend this money on the aftershocks, they can afford to lower their exorbitant, ridiculous, thieving, personally bankrupting goddamn fares. Okay? I don't mean from here to the end of the fiscal year, which is only in like June, right? We're almost into June 2017. Now, I mean, not even until, beyond the next fiscal year, beyond the one after, until long after the point in time at which airline travel becomes technologically obsolete. United Airlines, in other words, when they're flying people around in individual laser-guided rocket packs, United Airlines should still be punished severely, horribly, for what they did to David Dow. In the form of like having like a 2% profit margin. You're basically breaking even and going out of business, and you've already been had the need, because how can they ever recover? Nobody takes United Airlines anymore. They're going to have to merge, and there's no double punishment that started first. Anyway, the other thought I had was a selfish thought. Here we come finally to the selfish thought. That wasn't a selfish thought. Well, it was. Lower airfares, and I could do away with my moral objection to United Airlines for going to New York and back, Philly and back, where I was born and raised, for $14 round trip. I could deal with that. So there's selfish thing number one. Selfish number two is now, when I get suicidally depressed, masochistic, I got a plan, and I've done it, it works. I just booked an overcrowded United Airlines flight out of Chicago, volunteered to leave, deplane, and then change my mind before I do. It works wonderfully. You can't tell because all the lacerations, contusions, abrasions, blood scars. I had plastic surgery, so it's all healed now, and I haven't had a relapse. God, I hope I don't get depressed again. Just doing these tapes and trying to achieve, my 200 views. Other people have 1 million. They put out bullshit. It's horrible. But what the hell would I want to get into next? Oh yeah, there's a couple of things that I think we can all agree on. And I force you into only one answer by making a statement that is a rock solid, hardcore rock bottom, that quality to it. So here I have two statements. So everybody's agreed, right? Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is the most obnoxiously repulsive, ridiculously superficial, brainless, female, sexism, mongering, hypersexual, male chauvinist pig that ever existed. And two, that James Woods, the actor James Woods, is the most brainless, similarly vacuous-minded. I'll use a different adjective. People love my variation on adjectives. The most ridiculously vacuous-minded, arch right-wing, fascistic level, hyper-conservative neocon, and selfish interest protective, which they all are, Trump ass-licker who ever existed. I would say so. Okay, so now we're into the politics, and you would say so too because you have no other choice. Trump. I just hope there's not going to be a Washington, D.C. garbage workers strike again anytime soon, because there's a large piece of trash, in fact, a number of them, that need be removed from the White House. You know, Ivanka, you know, the first slutty, the first lady, you know, Jared Kushner. You know, they're talking about he's under indictment now and all this stuff for his, you know, he has to testify about his daddies and his whole administration and his, you know, collusion with Russia, which is obvious. You know, I never met a president. There was never a president. You have to hand it to Donald Trump. He's the first president with the IQ of a small collection, a school of clams. You know, that didn't do so well in the hatchery, in the fishery. You know, and they were exposed to like disease organisms, like botulism, and they just never developed properly. They became like little miniature mollusks. Nobody wanted to eat mollusks that nobody wanted to consume. And if anybody was that stupid to eat, became very sick over. Anyway, words just fail me. But you know, he has achieved certain records that I think are commendable, Donald Trump. And I bash him a lot, but hey, look, he is the only president in United States history, out of all 45, him included, of course, to be elected as a lame duck, already elected. In other words, completely unpopular, even by people who elected him. It's like, you know, all these white, you know, bred Southern, you know, because I lived in the South, I could say, you know, there's a lot of liberals, but you got to be in the right areas that I lived in. Otherwise, you know, you could still get lynched for being a Jew even, let alone if you're black, you've got that third strike against you, or Hispanic, you're between the white and the black. A rock and a hard place. So, in other words, Donald Trump is the first president whose first 100 days start his last 100 days. I look forward to the impeachment. Yeah! All right, it's happening. I predicted it. I was just off by 20 days so far. But any day now it's going to start. It'll be out in 6 months total, okay? We already had the 3 months and 4 months. So we're going to have another 3 months, okay, 7 months. I was off, like, excuse me. Like, I didn't vote the fucker in. Okay? I didn't do it. You did. I voted for the right guy. Okay? The only equitable candidate that everybody, oh, he's a socialist. You know, if it means having affordable, decent, accountable competition in medical care, people not dying from routine things like gum infections when they're 7 because their parents can't afford an antibiotic, if that's what socialism is, jobs based upon admitting something called global warming. You know, it's elementary. And, you know, jobs based upon a technology. It's always been that way. In the 20s of the last century, it was cars. Then it was airplanes. Then it was this. That's what builds an economy. Jobs. Manufacturing. Hello? No, but Donald Trump knows better. He wants to play by different rules. You know, and in order to do that, to favor kickbacks from his fat industry bedfellows, is like going to deny that it exists. But the only candidate worked for him, contributed for him, canvassed for him, worked for him, that kind of work for him, everything, gave his campaign suggestions that they used. And that's when Bernie became popular Bernie. Yeah, Lee G. Kushner did that. I did. I'm not delusional. I don't care if you believe me or not. I know what I did and what I'm made of. Said, stop using the word socialist. Very unpopular with right-wing America. You know, people that hear a word and they don't even understand it. and it's like they're already having a riot, shooting people and lynching them over it. But anyway, yeah, I work for the Jewish guy, okay? I mean, when you don't know how to do something and you've tried an outdated way and people should have their registration cards confiscated under the threat who vote for people like Bush Jr. and Bush Sr. and DT 45, they should, I have a solution to the prison overpopulation problem and the jobs problem, the economic problem. What we do is we train a bunch of prisoners to be deadly in about 5 forms of martial arts. Send them to the homes of people that vote for assholes like Bush and Trump and whatnot, and you give them 2 very painful options, but one is the clearly better choice. Either you suffer a very painful sexual assault in front of your neighbors and family, or you surrender your voter registration card, and we take you off the rolls, the computer permanently. And it would employ everybody, clear the prisons out. Hey, come on. These people, I noticed, former gang members, prisoners, whatever, they're the normal people. It's the fuckers in City Hall that are getting paid off by unlimited development to ruin and plunder a city, hurl carcinogenic construction dust from unshielded buildings. Oh, and guess who allowed this to happen? Liberals. Oh yeah, under the standpoint of inclusion. We got to let all these immigrants in to work without masks and breathe this shit in, die, get silicosis, lung cancer, emphysema, bronchitis, asthma, until they can't take anymore like most of them are now, and they're going back to Mexico before they die, where they sent all the money anyway. How patriotic you liberal Democrats are. Can't even pass a goddamn gun control, background check gun control bill. Are you out of your minds? Shame on you. Conspired to screw the the only saving grace that we ever could possibly have at the most critical time, and now this is what you got. You voted your conscience. Let me ask you this. Voted for Jill Stein, you voted for Gary Schmuck, whatever his name is, Johnson, Schmuck Johnson. You voted for Hillary Clinton because she was a woman. Let me ask you this. How do you conscience the fact that voting your own, principles brought Hitler into the White House? It's just one basic question. But anyway, I got to hand it, Trump has done some remarkable things. He has done other records, formerly blacks and Hispanics who, in gangs, they had this instinctive murderous hatred for each other, with or without being in gangs. But in gangs, it was so bad that like in LA, the Crips would stop shooting each other over the ownership of like an automobile they stole, just to go beat up on a couple of wandering Mexicans that walk by. And vice versa. But now, after Trump, there's this new unification of the 2 ethnic groups, racial ethnic groups, such that now they're engaged in a friendly competition to see who's going to be the first group to knock off Donald Trump. And I think each of them have compelling reasons, like, Hispanics, I could see them talking. They talk like this to the blacks, and vice versa. Like, hey, man, he's going to deport me. He's going to rip me away from my family. They have no other breadwinner. Oh, shut up, man. You're crying. That's bullshit. You know what? After Trump joined up with Putin and take over ISIS and all the heroin, who do you think's going to be harvesting that shit? Us. It ain't going to be any, paid labor. It's going to be, Poppy is the new cop. So shut the fuck up. We killing the motherfucker first. I know all you liberals don't like that stereotypical characterization of black people, okay? Well, you know what? That's what humor is. Get a life! Exaggeration of reality. I know. I've had black friends, which is more than you could say. I know the way they talk, they can talk, they can be indistinguishable from the stereotype. A lot of them are. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, there's, Donald Trump, there's a couple of things, The other commendable thing is he kept his word about Social Security in his own words. I made a campaign promise. I said I'm a Washington outsider. And so as such, I wasn't going to take your Social Security. Come on, that's for losers. I'm not going to take your Social Security. I kept my promise. Because now that I'm a Washington insider, I can hire, and I'm going to hire, some third-party company they're going to take your Social Security. Some privatization thing, But I'm not going to, blood's not going to be on my hands. No, this is going to be the most wonderful, terrific, and I told you, I'm only going to deport the immigrants, the illegal aliens, the losers that are criminals. In other words, forgetting quite a bit about the fact that someone as repulsive as me, all right, who was obviously thereby hatched in outer space and not born in this country, and I'm an admitted rapist, all right, I should be the first to go. But other than that, people ask me, Donald, President, how do you tell? How am I going to tell who is the criminal immigrant, illegal, from the non-criminal? Okay? They say, what do you have, a machine? And I say, yeah. As a matter of fact, I have a machine. All right? With my patented criminalometer, I just attach an electrode here and an electrode to this index finger on the other hand, and I can tell whether or not they're the kind of loser, that doesn't pay their taxes, or the kind of winner, in my book, who does assume the tax burdens of billionaires like me. I never paid a tax. That kind of schmuck. Like that's who I want in this country. That's who I want in this country. That, to me. The others are losers. They're going back. I already deported. I don't care what crimes they committed. Rape. I did that. I said, arson, murder. I care that they assume my tax burden. And if they're not going to do that, they're not terrific. They're not wonderful people. They're bad people. They need to go. All right. But anyway, so Donald Trump, geez. She was just unlikable. Hillary Clinton, she had more criminal scandals, than the number of hamburgers that McDonald's has sold. Since they opened, that I know of, in 1956 or something. So that's a lot of hamburger. So she had that. She had Bernie, she one of her biggest felonies was that she cheated Bernie Sanders without question or qualification on the Democratic nomination. And, Bernie got more, the integrity of that election was more violated than Jenna Jameson has been, both on and off the porn set in her private life. And, Bernie got more shafted. in that Democratic primary election than a newly discovered California gold mine would be. Bernie got more raped. Bernie got more violated in that Democratic national primary election than the victim of prison gang rape. I mean, it was so bad. How raped was he? But I imagine that Bernie's angry right now. I mean, I imagine he's a very angry person. Let's do a time check. Okay, we're good. Just try to do like a full-length reel here. Which is going to eat up every fucking byte in my newly bought computer. But save it to a disk. Anyway, whatever. I'm not worried about technology. I just ignore it and let the chips fall let the chips fall where they may. I wish I could talk, but I'm overcoming an illness and more loquaciously, fluently, whatever, facilely. I just made up a word. Anyway, why did it get dark on the screen? Anyway, whatever. It's 4:11. How did that happen? Ooh, I got to take my medicine, but no wonder I'm crazy and rambling. Where was I? Yeah, I imagine that Bernie is very pissed because, he's the standard bearer. He's the most popular senator, federal legislator for 3 years in a row. People love Bernie. It reminds them of their grandfather. And they like it. Now, even the crackers are identified with him. They're going, about their decision to vote for Trump. Conversations are happening like this. Wait a minute. That son of a bitch says he's going to privatize our kids' education. We have to homeschool because the quality's going to be so crappy because some company's going to decide, whether they get books or not. Those brats are not coming home with me here and you during school. It's enough problems dealing with the little bastards. Okay, during regular times at night, getting them to do their homework, not making a mess, slopping stuff up, beating each other up. I have to deal with them during school hours. Jesus Christ almighty. And your parents, wait a minute, your parents, they are not, because they don't have enough money now to afford their little crappy one bedroom apartment in the ghetto. Well, hell, they're not coming to live here because their Social Security got eliminated, like their Medicare. They're not coming here sick to live. No, kill that bastard. I'll assassinate him. Anyway, I imagine Bernie's pretty angry too because he comes off like, but. He's making policy. He's opposing things. He's the leader of the progressive movement. But in his personal life, he's still got to be embittered. So I can see him at a Trader Joe's. Having a conversation like this. Miss, I don't understand why you're getting so uptight about 12 lousy quarters that I need to do to give my grandson Mark, he's visiting Jane and me, to go do his laundry. What's your problem? What's the big deal? I just spent $52 here. What do you mean it's close to closing? You don't have them up front, they're in a safe. Get your ass back there, you lazy ass, and get the goddamn quarters. 12 quarters. $3 in quarters. Come on. What do you mean? Why can't he do his laundry because he's an arch right-wing conservative, bullet-headed, fascist little bastard, and Jane and I can't consequently stand his guts, and we want him out of the house. That's why. You got to go out, do his laundry somewhere else. At least he'll be gone for 2 hours and a half. I'm even ordering a lift for him. I don't want to drive him. I don't want to see him. I don't want to be bothered with him or to even own him that he's in my family. Do I make myself clear? All right, you know this, you're getting me upset. I'm filing a complaint because I notice also, I'm tired of this 1% and 2% milk. You don't have the whole fat milk. You only have, this is for the 1% and the 2, it's not equitable. What do you mean? This is your last question. This is 20 questions or change. Appreciating the customer. What do you mean, why he can't get the change in the laundromat? Because it's a broken laundromat chain system that the millionaire and billionaire owners of the laundromats refuse to spend 1 penny of their profits to fix, and it's gotta change. He's still angry, Barney. He's a great guy, I love him. What the heck? Oh, I thought of certain things. I'm going to finish out by saying a couple of metaphors that convey how I feel about the Trump presidency. I like the idea of a Trump presidency about as much as I would spending 4 years in prison for a crime that I did not commit. I like the idea of a Trump presidency about as much as I do the notion of walking by automobile dealers row, and have 252 salespersons fly out of 10 different outlets, all of them gang tackling me hard to the concrete sidewalk, trying to sell me a flawed used vehicle. I like the idea of a Trump presidency about as much as I do the thought of vomiting and diarrhea from food poisoning. I like the idea of a Trump presidency about as much as I do trying to explain the theory of relativity to a mentally challenged person. Oh, that's right, to Trump, in other words, and his ilk, his brand of people. Listen, what else? I like the idea of a Trump presidency about as much as I do liver disease and having to go on dialysis from alcoholism, end-stage alcoholism, and diabetes, respectively. Okay, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for eating up all this fight on my space on my computer. Like Elvis should have said, not that I love you very much, but I hate you very much. You turned me into a drug addict, trying to satisfy your insane need for Elvis idolatry entertainment. Because of that, I had to stay up all goddamn night performing, and then to come down, I had to take Darvon, Valium, Halcyon, heroin, OxyContin, and then I died because of all that, from the strain on my heart defecating on a toilet. So I want to really tell you people, yes, Elvis is checked out because of your irresponsible behavior. He hasn't left the building, he's left the universe. So people, I just want to tell you, I hate you very much. Die yourselves. No, I'm kidding. Love you very much. Be great.